When I was browsing the internet for the past few days, I came across a ton of predictions and speculations about the characters we might see in version 5.4. But there was one prediction that really stood out to me, and I want to share it with you today. It's from none other than HomDGCat. They accurately predicted the version 5.3 banners, so their predictions definitely carry a lot of weight. In this video, we're going to break down their prediction and explore where they might have gotten this info from. If you're looking to save up to 19% on Genshin top-ups, check out ldshop.gg. Just enter your UID and server, link in the description. Let's start with Mizuki. She is officially confirmed as a playable character in version 5.4. Mizuki is a 5-star Animo Catalyst user, and she will debut as a standard character, meaning she'll get her own banner in 5.4, and then be added to the standard pool in 5.5. Mizuki is designed as a sub-DPS and specializes in triggering swirl reactions. Given the current Abyss buffs, she's almost certainly going to be featured in the first phase of the 5.4 banners. In the first half of the Abyss, it grants a 75% Animo damage boost to the party, making her debut perfectly timed to take full advantage of it. So, it's likely she'll be featured in the first phase banners, which aligns with the predictions from HomDGCat. The second character who's likely to appear in the first phase is Rayo. How did I come to that conclusion? Well, a well-known leaker named Flying Flames has confirmed that Rayo will return in 5.4. Normally, we expect banner leaks from Chan, who has been the go-to source for these kinds of predictions. However, sometimes we get leaks from other sources, and this one came right before the start of the 5.4 beta, which gives it some credibility. Now, when we look at the Abyss buffs, it makes sense for Rayo to return in the first phase. The buff suggests that in the second half of floor 12, cryo damage from charged attacks gets a 75% boost, and that fits perfectly with Rayo playstyle, which relies heavily on charged and normal attacks. This has been a long time coming, and it looks like it's finally Rayo turn. Again, this aligns perfectly with HomDGCat's prediction. So, in the first phase, we're looking at Mizuki and Rayo. If you're hoping to get one of them, it's definitely time to save up your Primogems. Now, moving to the second phase banners. Starting with the Archon rerun in this version. First, yes, there will be an Archon who will receive a banner in this patch. In the past, we've had Raiden in version 5.0, Nahida in version 5.1, Zhongli in version 5.2, and Mavuika in version 5.3. That leaves us with only 2 Archons left, Finina and Venti. And personally, I think it's most likely going to be Finina. The Abyss buffs in the second phase increase Hydro damage by 75%. And since Finina focuses on elemental skills, it makes sense for her to be featured here. Venti, on the other hand, was rumored to be rerun in version 5.5, and I think that's still likely. I'm not sure why Hoyoverse is pushing his rerun so far into the future, but it could be because they're planning something big for him, maybe related to the Windbloom Festival. It's possible we'll see his rerun in 5.5 instead. I also noticed something interesting about the recent banners, and it only adds to the possibility of Finina getting a rerun. Since version 5.2, we've seen 2 Fontaine rerun banners in each patch. In 5.2, we had Linny and Nuvolette. In 5.3, we're getting Arlecchino and Clorinde. So for version 5.4, it only makes sense for Finina and Rayo to get their reruns, continuing the trend of Fontaine characters returning in this version. Finally, let's talk about the last character expected in the second phase of 5.4. It's most likely Xinyan. Again, looking at the Abyss buffs, there's a 75% increase in plunging attack damage, which lines up perfectly with Xinyan's playstyle, as she's known for her powerful plunging attacks. It's a logical pick for her to be featured in the second phase. So, to quickly recap, we can expect Mizuki and Rayo in the first phase, followed by Finina and Xinyan in the second phase. All of these predictions align perfectly with the Abyss buffs, which have always been a good indicator of who might be featured in upcoming banners. Looking at everything, this lineup makes perfect sense. If you're hoping to pull for one of these characters, now's the time to start saving your Primogems. Now, I also want to talk about the potential chronicled banner that leakers said will be available in this version. Remember, none of these are confirmed yet. Back to the Chronicled Wish. It's happening in 5.4, much sooner than many of us expected. If you're thinking, wait, didn't we just have one? You're absolutely right. The version 5.3 Chronicled Wish for Liyue hasn't even settled in yet, and here we are looking at the next one. The source for this leak is none other than Flying Flames, one of the most reliable leakers in the Genshin Impact community. However, considering their track record, this leak carries a lot of weight, even though it's still marked as subject to change. Flying Flames was the first to accurately predict the details of the Liyue Chronicled Wish banner, making them a trusted source. Despite that, it's wise to approach this with caution until we get official confirmation or further leaks. Based on past trends, there's strong speculation that the upcoming 5.4 Chronicled Wish banner could focus on Inazuma. If we look back at the pattern, the Chronicled Wish banners have been tied to the order in which regions were released. First, we had Mondstadt, followed by Liyue, so logically Inazuma should be next in line. Plus, it's been a while since key Inazuma characters had a rerun. This could be the perfect time for fan-favorite characters like Kokomi, Ayaka, Ayato, Yae-miko, and Ito to make a comeback. We could also see Kazuha in this banner even though his last rerun was only 3 patches ago. We have already seen MiHoYo break the system and rules of the Chronicled banner. The system typically requires a character to have had at least 1 release banner and 2 reruns to qualify. However, as we saw with Shenhei in the 5.3 Chronicled Wish, Hoyoverse isn't always strict about these rules. Shenhei only had 1 rerun before appearing in the Chronicled Wish, showing that the system can be a bit more flexible when it serves the theme or timing of the event. This flexibility means that any Inazuma character could make an appearance, even if they haven't strictly followed the usual rules. While the chances of an Inazuma Chronicled banner in version 5.4 seem pretty high, there's still room for doubt. The reason for the optimism comes from the fact that version 5.4 is expected to feature a major Inazuma festival event, and Chronicled banners are typically tied to large regional events like these. So logically, it would make sense for Hoyoverse to capitalize on that with a Chronicled Wish banner featuring Inazuma characters, especially since it's been a while since fan favorites like Kokomi, Ayaka, and Ito had reruns. However, there's a potential curveball. We're already getting a Chronicled banner in version 5.3, which leaves some room for hesitation. It feels unlikely that Hoyoverse would release 2 Chronicled banners back-to-back, especially with such a quick turnaround between the two. The timing might make it seem like an overload of reruns, and they might want to avoid that to keep things fresh and exciting for players. While it's still a strong possibility, I personally don't think it's super likely that we'll see a second Chronicled banner in such quick succession. But with that big Inazuma event on the horizon, I wouldn't completely rule it out either. It's definitely a situation where we'll have to wait for more leaks or official news to confirm whether or not this theory holds any weight. Exactly. This whole idea is still based on leaks, speculations, and predictions, so nothing is set in stone yet. We should take everything with a grain of salt for now. In the coming weeks, we'll likely get the full lineup from trusted sources like Fullstop-chan or HomDGCat, who have a pretty reliable track record. So, for now, let's just sit tight and wait for those confirmations before jumping to conclusions. So what do you think about this information? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Oh, and do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Until next time!